Well, as you are noticing, one of my tech savvy kids instructed me on how to do a landscape view of the hot tub curmudgeon instead of the skinny portrait views I've been doing. When I was practicing law, this is a question every lawyer gets asked, and that is, how can you defend someone that you know is guilty? And my answer is, it's not that you're defending someone who's guilty, it's that you're making the prosecutor do their job. Trust me, you do not want to live in a society that has an expedited or speeded up judicial system. At least you don't ever want to get crosswise with that system. So we require a prosecutor to prove beyond a reasonable doubt and to collect the evidence in a fair manner, and then to divulge all the evidence that they have to the defendant so that he can see what he's up against. So it's not that a lawyer's defending the guilty. The lawyer is making the prosecutor do his job. And boy, I have had some where the guy was like, no question, guilty as sin. And we just went in, made the prosecutor do his job. It was embarrassing to me because the dumb sumbitch wanted a jury trial. And, I just said to the jury, he's entitled to present, I don't know, I might not even said present his side of the story because I don't think the guy said anything. I actually think the guy might have been schizophrenic or something. He'd just been walking, took a shortcut through a parking lot and smacked the a car salesman on the back of the head while the guy was talking to two customers. So he's charged with assault. He didn't have anything to say to the jury, and so it was kind of embarrassing, but we did it. We went with it. Okay, so I had this other case where my client was just a damned liar. There was no question about it. He was lying. And what it was is that my client had sold about 65 acres of undeveloped land to a Chinese guy, Jack C, Hsieh. Now, Jack C was a prince of a fella, and I think he might even have fought against the Japanese with us in the Second World War. I think he was born in China. So my guy was about 90 years old and had sold this land to Jack C, 65 acres. And so Jack C hadn't made his last contract payment. And so I foreclosed the real estate contract and took the land away from Jack C back in favor of my guy. So then Jack C sues my guy for mostly what it was about was that my guy had screwed up a sale that Jack C had lined up. And if he'd been able to make that sale, then he could have made the payment that was the reason that we took the land away from him, missed payment. So we went to work on this case, and that old fart would come in and just rant. I actually fell asleep once while he was ranting, and I was charging about $10 or $20 an hour more than I charged all these pathetic divorcees married to bums that wouldn't pay child support and blah, blah. Anyway, so I'm charging him extra just because he's so despicable. And rant. Now, the thing, the contract that he screwed up was that Jack C, there was a farmhouse on this 65 acres. And Jack C had told this young couple that he would sell them the farmhouse for an amount, but not 65 acres, just like maybe half an acre around the farmhouse. And then he could use the proceeds from that sale to make his real estate contract and keep the 65 acres. Then he was working on subdividing it, I think, into 5-acre parcels that he would then sell off to little horse people. So we started getting. So just before we foreclosed it, my old guy is out there taking a look at his property that he's going to take away from the Chinese guy. And he sees this young couple, and they explain that they're going to buy the house. And my guy says, don't buy for that Chinaman. I'm going to take the land away from him, and I'll sell it to you for less money. Now, that is technically what's called tortious interference with a contract. So my guy had interfered with Jack C's ability to sell the property. So we get ready for trial. Now, Jack C had hired, in my opinion, the best attorney in the Tri-Cities. John, God, that's embarrassing. Can't even remember John's last name. He was over in Pasco, and his son started practicing with him. Anyway, John was the best attorney in the Tri-Cities. And so about once a week, John would call me up and tell me what a worthless jackass my client was and how we were going to lose this lawsuit. Now, it was very valuable information for him to tell me how we were going to lose this lawsuit, and I would hurry up and make notes, everything John explained to me. Now, when we got to trial, my old guy, he's saying, I never told that young couple, hold off, don't buy from Jack C. They were now divorced or separated, had moved to separate states. They hadn't bought the property, and they were willing to come back to trial and testify. Oh, hell yeah, that old bugger told us not to buy from the Chinaman, that he'd sell it to us for less money. So, but I'd done my homework and realized that Jack C was going to sell. Jack C had taken an earnest money to sell this house when he had not subdivided the land. That is a misdemeanor. Now, I'm not sure whether it's a misdemeanor in just Benton County or throughout Washington State, but I think the point is to protect purchasers from, overly optimistic developers who figure, I'll sell one piece of this before I've subdivided it, and then use the sales money to do all the expenses of subdividing. Then, if it doesn't work out, he has spent the money trying to subdivide, and the purchaser is screwed because he can't get his property, it ain't subdivided, and he can't get his money because it's been spent. So it's a misdemeanor to offer for sale land that you have not subdivided. So, and the judge, Ewell, Y-U-L-E, Dennis Ewell, judge, had, before he went on the bench, had been the deputy prosecuting attorney for Benton County, in charge of just exactly those kinds of cases, civil cases. And so he knew very well this misdemeanor law that Jack C was not supposed to sell this land until it was subdivided. So when the judge was ready to make his decision, he actually yelled at my client, "You old fart, you old liar, be coming into court here and lying to me about that you didn't tell these people, blah, blah, blah." So my guy was guilty as hell, and then the judge awarded $1 in damages because there was no damages since Jack C wasn't supposed to be selling that house to this couple. So there's an example of making the other side do their job, even though your guy is guilty as hell. So then I had to put up one or two more meetings with this old guy ranting at me about how the judge had called him a liar. Oh, isn't that terrible?